Throughout American history, socialism has been something to be feared. And in American politics, any association with socialism has without fail been a kiss of death. See former socialist presidential candidate Eugene Debs being thrown in jail for opposing World War I. Or conservatives and the medical establishment scuttling Harry Truman's Medicare for All-esque healthcare plan by stirring up a mini Red Scare. But now, socialism isn't the dirty word it once was. In fact, self-described socialists are on a winning streak across the country. In 2025, the largest city in the nation elected a socialist as their mayor, Zoran Mamdani. The same day, Seattle voters chose socialist Katie Wilson to lead their city. And the nation's capital is set to follow suit in 2026 after socialist Janice Lewis George won the Democratic primary for mayor. The socialist shift isn't just limited to local government. Mamdani-backed socialists Claire Valdez, Daria Liza Avila Chevalier, and Brad Lander successfully ousted establishment Democrats in New York's congressional primaries. Even in Democratic primaries for battleground seats, far from progressive havens like New York, fed-up voters are backing socialists at the polls. In Maine, primary victors Graham Plattner and Matt Dunlap, running for closely contested Senate and House seats respectively, were backed by Democratic Socialist kingmaker Bernie Sanders. And in California, Randy Villegas, a supporter of single-payer healthcare also backed by Sanders, emerged as the latest challenger to vulnerable but battle-tested Republican Congressman David Valadao. But why now are liberal voters moving so sharply to the left? Strangely enough, part of the reason socialists are winning now is similar to how Donald Trump won re-election as president in 2024. Voters have displayed clear exhaustion with the economic status quo. In 2024, Trump made the wildly unrealistic promise of lowering food and housing prices on day one, and it worked. The victorious socialists have basically co-opted this strategy for the left. And no matter how unrealistic policies like free childcare, universal basic income, and a 4-day work week with no loss in pay may seem, voters are increasingly willing to give these big promises a chance. However, many of these goals are not dissimilar from progressives that have been on the rise in the Democratic Party for much longer. The main issue that sets socialists apart from the progressives who have still played nice with the establishment? Israel. The furthest left wing of the Democratic Party has become increasingly opposed to Israel's conduct in Gaza and hostile towards the influence of AIPAC, a pro-Israel lobbying group. AIPAC has become such a wedge issue that Mamdani's aforementioned primary endorsement spurned former strong allies of his in Representatives Nydia Velázquez and Adriano Espaillat. And the issue is potent enough to have caused tensions to flare between supporters of politicians with minimal policy differences. An example being the Brad Lander supporting owner of a New York coffee shop posting a caustic rant about the pro-Israel stances of Representative Dan Goldman, Lander's opponent, after Goldman visited the establishment. Finally, there was one more intuitive reason socialism is becoming more acceptable among the young urban base of the Democratic Party. Whereas previous generations were conditioned to fear socialism while growing up during a time in which vicious communist regimes existed across the world, capitalist reforms in China and the collapse of the USSR mean today's younger generation knows little firsthand of the potential dangers of socialism. Instead, after years of conservatives attacking moderate Democrats like Clinton and Obama as socialists, the label has lost almost all of its meaning. The primary concern with the rise of socialists is their electability. While Mamdani-esque candidates can clearly find electoral success in the most left-leaning environments in the country, the path forward for candidates like Plattner, Dunlap, and Villegas in battleground regions is much less clear. The Democratic Party establishment, fearing this uncertainty, sought to boost the primary opponents of all three of these candidates to victory, but to no avail. The trepidation is warranted. The tried-and-true formula for flipping swing seats has almost always involved running a moderate candidate that swing voters and independents could easily get behind. However, supporters of the socialists argue that times have changed, and voters are no longer going to push boring centrists over the finish line. Rather, they need an exciting left-wing agenda to draw them toward voting for Democrats. The secondary concern is accusations of anti-Semitism and socialist AIPAC messaging. Mamdani recently drew fire for a strongly worded condemnation of AIPAC, in which he said the organization was full of, quote, monsters that, quote, move millions in dark money seeking to, quote, preserve their power and, quote, turn us against one another. Mamdani defended his remarks, saying it was simply a criticism of AIPAC's tactics of flooding money into elections seeking to preserve a failing status quo. But several Jewish leaders disagreed, saying he had crossed a line into anti-Semitism. Representative Josh Gottheimer, a fellow Democrat, questioned whether any anti-Semitism debate would exist if Mamdani had simply subbed out the word AIPAC for Jews. While this is only one controversy, it is indicative of a larger pattern of criticism of Israel facing allegations of anti-Semitism, with the socialists at times veering uncomfortably close to outright anti-Semitic rhetoric. Many questions remain about whether socialism's appeal will continue to subsist and expand. Is this far-left surge simply a reaction to strong unfavorability for the current Republican government? Can socialism expand its support beyond young urban voters? Will the rise of socialism prompt another rightward shift from the Republican Party in response? We won't know the answer to some of these questions for a long time, but this November's midterms will be a start.